Hey everybody, welcome to LettermenRow.com. I am Jeremy Birmingham. This is Birminology, where we are talking to recruits and Ohio State targets from around the country. And we are taking a step back to the class of 2022. We don't spend a lot of time there anymore, as we've talked to a number of the kids in that class that the Buckeyes are going after. But today we're bringing Addison Nichols from the Atlanta area, Greater Atlanta Christian High School, who happens to be, I think, the most interesting recruit in America in the class of 2022. Addison, thank you for taking some time away from everything else that's going on to join us. How you doing, man?
Doing well. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
No, glad to do it. As I said, I think that you are definitely one of the more interesting kids in the country. I've written a little bit about you on Lettermen Row as far as some of the things that you do away from football that are so interesting. Like right now, I'm seeing the top of your head. It looks good. Your haircut looks good.
Thank you.
How does a kid who's 6'5", 310 pounds become a ukulele player, for example?
So basically, when I was in middle schoolish area, I would get bored a lot. Being an only child, you have a lot of spare time on your hands. Don't really have anyone to do anything with, especially when your parents aren't home. So it's pretty much how I started all of my instruments. My mom would leave, and I'd be like, "Oh, what's your favorite song?" And when she came back, I had learned how to play it on the piano. And then it just kind of was like, "Oh, I want to try this instrument. Oh, look at that instrument. Let me try that instrument." So it was just kind of like experiencing and tasting new things.
So there's the piano, there's the ukulele. What's the third instrument that you play?
Guitar.
Now, I'm just going to ask you this because it's sort of a weird topic du jour right now. You said you like tasting new things. Are you going to eat the cicadas?
No, but I do like tasting things. It's a very big plus of my job.
What was the one thing where you decided to give it a try food-wise that you were surprised that you liked it?
Oh, wow. I would probably say I want to say Thursday, I tried pork ragu for the first time, and I didn't quite know how I felt about it, but once I tried it, it was pretty good.
I mean, you're an offensive lineman. I suppose that, as you said, eating is part of the job.
Right.
In the next couple of weeks, you're going to be eating up a lot of miles far as travel. And that's what we call a successful segue, Addison. That was a beautiful segue by being right there. If people are scoring at home, I'd like to make sure that I pointed that out. Talk a little bit, if you can, about this travel schedule that's coming up. And, obviously it's been 16 months since you've been allowed to go to a college campus and really to talk to anybody. What are you most looking forward to with this handful of trips coming up?
Biggest thing is just meeting people. A lot of these people I have not met before. A lot of these places I have not seen before. So being able to go out there, meet staffs, meet players, meet people that I've been speaking on the phone with for over a year, and then being able to see the place that they praise. So those are the biggest things for me, because I haven't seen Ohio State, I haven't seen USC, I haven't seen Florida, I haven't met Coach Luke from UGA, I haven't met the new Tennessee staff, I haven't met Coach Stud. So I'm really just kind of like in a virtual state right now.
Yeah.
So being able to go do the physical aspect and meeting everyone and seeing the place is the biggest thing for me.
I think that it's interesting a lot of times for someone like yourself in a normal recruiting era, as someone in the Atlanta area, you may not even take an official visit to Georgia because you, at this point in your recruitment, would have been there so many times. And yet now you have to use one for one of those schools that's right down the road. Is there, another school that's not in that top 5 that you look at sometimes, you're like, man, I wish I could have used one of the officials to go there, or, that maybe you feel like in a normal world you would have looked at deeper?
Not really. There's not really a school I go like, oh, I wish I had done one here. The the 5 I have it's pretty narrowed down. I wouldn't really change it for anything else. I feel like the official visit it is good because the time I'm going this upcoming weekend, they're doing like kind of like a Georgia recruit thing where it's going to be all the Georgia guys and we're all going to go for that weekend. So I feel like that would be really good. Being able to get with those guys, do a weekend with them. And then I honestly haven't seen as much of UGA as you would think. I never really have time to get up to Athens, and then I haven't met Coach Luke. So it's definitely something that's really important for me at this time.
You are an Atlanta kid, but your family is more Tennessee based as far as your mother went to Tennessee, correct?
Yes, sir.
So that's where the Vols interest, I think, started for you. But obviously if you look at the schools that you're considering, Ohio State, Florida, Georgia, USC, and Tennessee, people would look at the Volunteers and say, okay, that program right now isn't on the same level. How hard is it, or I guess, how important is it for you to get to know that the program can get there? And is that something that you think you can learn on an official visit?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. It's definitely something important. More of the business academic aspect is a little more important to me, but for sure that is a very important aspect of it. But on the official visit, yes, I think I can, because being able to meet the coaches and kind of experience how they run things, how they coach. With some of these coaches, I'm going to try and over the summer do just an unofficial little thing where I go and do an hour workout with them. Mm-hmm. So being able to do that, experience how they coach and stuff like that, and then talking to players and what they think, what they've learned from spring ball or past seasons and different things like that. So for sure it'll be something very beneficial for that.
Now, those hour workouts are not something you can do on an official visit. Does that mean that you have plans to go back to all of the schools for unofficial hour workouts, or is it just the ones that are a little closer to home, like Tennessee, Georgia, et cetera?
It'll end up being the ones a little closer to home. I will not have time to be able to drive up to Ohio State or especially USC. Right. That would just, I don't have the time for that. But as of now, I'm trying to. I have one set for UGA. I'm gonna try and get one set for Tennessee, and we'll see if I can make time for another one if I can. But as of now, that's something I really want to do. Get as many as I can, just so I can learn how they coach and how I feel around them on the field and stuff like that. So that's something big that I want to do.
When you and I spoke at the Under Armour event down in Atlanta, you had mentioned that one of the things you liked most about Ohio State was just the energy of Greg Studrara and the way that he was on the phone, et cetera. Are you at all worried that some of that stuff won't be the same in person?
I don't think so. I feel like from speaking to him for so long, I feel like he's a really genuine guy. He's super passionate about the game. I feel like he really brings that on to the field as well. So I'm not worried that it'll be any different.
I know that Florida has already, passed name, image, likeness legislation. Georgia has worked on it. California has worked on it. Ohio, it's just being introduced. I don't know about Tennessee, but for someone like you, Addison, that has so many interests. I mean, you have a real estate business, you have an e-commerce site, you have the ukulele, you're in Taekwondo. How important is it to learn about the opportunities with name, image, and likeness at each school? And it's something that obviously is going to be talked about a lot by coaches around the country and by recruits around the country. But is that something that you personally are paying attention to at all?
For sure. It's definitely something really important, how they can brand me through college. It's something that I will bring up on the official visit. I will. Because I remember, I'm pretty sure that some schools already have people in like departments for that or something. So if the school I'm going to has a department like that, I'll go and speak with the people in it, the head of it, and see what they can do to advertise me in that. I've done a few things with schools, like Florida, for example, did a Zoom call and they talked about it briefly about how they can brand you and stuff like that. But that's definitely something important that's going to be brought up on the official visit.
Have you, do you have an idea of, I know you're interested in business. If football doesn't work out, Addison, and you end up, you don't make it to the NFL, I know that's the ultimate goal for everyone, but what's the one of these little ventures of yours that you've started that you find yourself most passionate for?
In all honesty, I really have no idea what I would want to do, because I know I want to do something in entrepreneurship, but I'm not entirely sure yet where in that I want to go, what I want to do, and what I want to make. So I'm really just going to kind of see how it comes in college and see if I can come up with an idea. But as of now, I really have no idea where I'd go. If it had to happen today, I'd kind of be a deer in headlights.
Well, the good news is it doesn't have to happen today, and nothing for you has to happen on any specific timeline. But as you are pushing these official visits to happen all within the next month, it seems pretty clear that you're hoping to narrow in on a decision by the end of June. When do you really want to have the recruiting process wrapped up?
My ideal time is before the school year starts, but the very latest I want to go is the beginning of the football season, because I really, really want to have it done before my senior year, since I am graduating early and enrolling early. I just want that last semester to just be high school, enjoy senior year, not have to worry about all the recruiting and all of that aspects of it. Just be able to be done with it and just enjoy my last semester of high school. So ideally before the school year starts, but definitely before football season.
How important is it for a player like yourself, again, and I say this with an utmost compliment, who doesn't, it's not all about football for you. There's a lot of parts to your experience. How important is it for you to be around guys who are like you?
It's definitely important for me to have some people who are like me around me, but it's also good to have people that aren't like me around me, because I can learn new things from them that I haven't experienced. So definitely a mix of things is really important, because I can learn something new, try something new, do something new that I hadn't done before. So definitely some diversity is good in it as well.
I'll ask you just one more thing and I'll let you get out of here. As a kid from Atlanta, how do you feel like a college that's in a city environment is something you'd prefer? Or is that, a matter of you just having to get used to, Gainesville is a little different than Athens, and Athens is significantly different than Columbus, and they're different than Knoxville, which is different than Los Angeles. I mean, do you have an idea of like what sort of environment you want?
Nothing really in particular. I could honestly do either or. I prefer more of an urban aspect. I definitely don't want straight rural where there's absolutely nothing to do but walk around and fiddle with your thumbs. I like to have something there to do if I want to go hang out with some guys from the team, or if we have a day off, we can go do something, stuff like that. But it doesn't have to be in the middle of the city, this big urban area. It's not something that I look at as like a pro and con of a school per se. It's not at the top of my list of what I decide on, but I would prefer it to be a little more urbanized than straight rural.
Understood. So let's wrap it up there. What are those things, Addison? What are those things that are at the top of the list, that are the 2 or 3 most important things as you prepare for this deluge of visits?
Definitely how I like their business school, how I like their staff, and how I get along with the staff, how I get along with the coaches and the players and all the people there. And the biggest one's probably just a feel thing. When you do something and you're there or you're about to do it and you're like, this is it. This is what I want. It's like when you're getting a new car. You get in the car and you're like, this is the car. This is the one. I want this one. So just really being able to see which place just gives me that moment where like, wow, I really want to be ... Yeah. So that's going to be a really big thing.
I know you're someone who does a lot of research and aren't going to go into any one of these visits unprepared. As you look ahead to Columbus, what is something that you have learned about the city of Columbus or that you've heard about that you're looking forward to experiencing?
I actually haven't done too much research on Columbus yet. But all I've really heard is it gets really cold, but it's a cool city. That's all I know pretty much as of now. And I know there's a lot of good food. So that's intriguing right there.
See, hey,
you'll sell me on food.
The big guys need a few degrees cooler, just to be clear.
Absolutely.
Anyway, Addison, I look forward to, chronicling the next month of what your, experiences are. And I know for Buckeyes fans, it's just an opportunity to get to know a little bit about your hairline and to make sure that that's going to be good to go when you arrive on campus for your official visit in a few weeks. Thank you very much for taking time.
For sure. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's Addison Nichols. I'm Jeremy Birmingham. This has been Birminology on Lettermen Row. Thanks for watching.